Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. In this video, what I'm going to touch on is quite an important topic, and it's something that will come up guaranteed in any business. If you're a recruiter, if you're running a business, how to deal with the bad days. So the bad days are bound to come up. You're probably going through some now. You've probably had some good and bad days through this week. Maybe even today is a bad day. For me, everything is running kind of smoothly. So I'm grateful for that. I have bad days, I have good days. However, what I want to touch on is how to avoid these mistakes. So when I started off in recruitment, I wasn't naturally, a fantastic biller. I was average. I done very well. It was 6-figure billings per year, every year. However, it didn't seem like it was that great for me. So what naturally happened is one day I sat down. So my billings would be really high and then they would drop down. They would be really high and then they would drop down. So month after month, it was just a roller coaster. And that was in my second or third year. And I said to myself, what is the deal? How do I go up rather than up and down, up and down? How do I keep going up and then making that transition? So the number one thing that I sat down, I got all my data, I pulled reports off and I sat down and I thought, what is going on here? So what naturally happened was I would win some business, I would fill the positions, and then I'll have no job. So I'm doing business development again. And then I'll go back up and I'm trying to win new business after that. So it was like a roller coaster and it just became like that. So what I really done was I really honed in on the business development side. And this is why I keep saying over and over again, you never stop business development. You always need to still win a business. In the first 3 months is the most important. You really want to get massive amounts of clients in that time. So it's easier said than done. I know, I understand, but what you need to consider is you don't want an up and down month. You don't want to make, first few months 6 grand and then you have nothing, because that's what might happen early on. You might get 2 placements in a month, and what you do naturally is you times 6 by 12 and you say, oh my god, if I'm nearly going to make 50, 60, 70 grand this year, oh my god. Your projections never come through and they never actually align with what you're looking for and what you're looking to achieve. So naturally what I done was I took some time out and I said, I'm just going to focus on winning new business. And it was the same old story. I realized at that point that email was the way to go. So I built a program and a system around how to get a massive amount of leads and then pump them out daily. And it was literally in the background running. I would win enough business to sort of sustain me throughout the year. And my billings went like this very smoothly. And then I had a hockey stick moment where it just, I started to build amazingly. So far, I've never seen anyone that has built that well in my time. I've spoke to people that have or claim they have, but I've never had anyone do that. So enough about me. What is your issues you're going to face going into recruitment and starting your own agency? What you're going to have is you're going to have those up and down months, and you're going to have times where you think this isn't for me. Believe me, I feel like quitting every day. Like something goes wrong, a bill comes in and I'm like, oh my god, I've got to pay that. Or a candidate doesn't show up to an interview, or a client doesn't come back after my candidate's been interviewed. All these issues will come up. You have to be one step ahead and don't put all your eggs in one basket, is the phrase. You see, I've seen successful businesses that everyone's making 10 grand in their pocket as a consultant every month. The only reason they're making that is from one client. And the number one thing that bankrupts agencies is when they lose that big client. You never really hear of agencies saying, oh, we're not diverse, or a lot of people are doing business development, they've got a loan out, so they're just going to sustain themselves. But what happens is most people just focus on one client and then they lose everything. I had it. I wouldn't say I had it, but I could have very easily been in a position. I had a client that was billing very well with for 3-4 months, and then they filled all the positions. So they trickle in one here and there. But had I put all my eggs in one, that wasn't well enough to sustain me, especially in the last few months. I could have easily sat on that. But I made sure I diversified. So the number one thing takeaway from that point is always do business development to the point where you've got at least 3 major accounts that you're billing off every single month. That's the end goal. That's what you want to end up with. And that's what I mean by, I call them like key accounts or the golden goose. They bring you jobs every month. So every single month they're giving you jobs, and they're saying to you, Cads, I need this position filled, or every week they're sending you an update. You need 3 of those accounts. Yeah. And it doesn't matter what the positions are, it doesn't matter what the niche are, but the system has to look like that, because that'll be what's going to sustain your business and cover all your costs and be basically a profit. Anything on top of that is a bonus. So make sure you are keeping in line with that. Now, the problem is, you win a client, you want to fill the position. But what naturally happens is your client might not be a good client, especially when you're starting off. The danger is when you're new, you win a client and you start to think, okay, great, I want to fill the position, I want to make 5 grand. Yeah. But what naturally happens is something might go wrong. However, if you had 3 clients and they had 6 positions and you tried to fill them all at once, working on 1 a day, for example, you'll be very easy on your way to filling the positions. I use the analogy of, and this is again a very dangerous thing to consider. If you lose 1 or 2 clients, or you don't fill 1 or 2 positions, it's not that bad. If you've got 100 clients, yeah, and if you've got, let's use money for example. So if you've got £5, yeah, and you lose £2, you lose a lot. So it really hurts. Like, that's most of your money. But if you had £100 and you lose £2, you've got 98 left. So you really want to be on the business development game and get a lot of clients, even if you can't service them. Yeah, even if you can't get round to the point where I can't get round to looking at all my jobs, I've got so many. So you want to be at that stage where you can be fussy, you can find the good accounts, you can find the positions that are easy to fill. That's the best way to be in this, I feel, at this stage. Especially if you're starting off. It's low risk, it's diverse. That's what the message is in this video. The main point, and I always say, is just fill your pipeline. Make sure your pipeline is filled with candidates, clients, leads constantly going out. That's the main thing. With regards to client acquisition, if you haven't got any live clients at the moment, your focus 100% needs to be on business development. It needs to be pumping out, X amount of emails a day. If your sector isn't yielding results, you need to change sector as well. At this stage, we're still in lockdown in the UK. We're still, in a global pandemic, etc. So things aren't going to be dead hot now. But these are the times where if you win a client and you actually make money, you're actually doing really well. You're doing better than most really established. Sorry, the light's coming in. You're doing better than really established clients. I mean, companies out there that are really struggling. I see it all the time. I have coaching calls with recruiters that are like, I'm working at a company and they just want us to double our calls. What do? I can't win any business. No one comes back to me. Everyone says they're fine for now, or they're recruiting internally. So you need to find, at the moment, a sector that is doing really well and operating. I've made videos in this in the past plenty of times. What are 5 sectors that are actually hiring people through agencies? So not just hiring. You might see all a company's posting online or on LinkedIn, and you might say to yourself, okay, great, this sort of company is recruiting. Great, I'm going to contact them. And they say, no, we're not using agencies, we're recruiting ourselves, because we don't want to pay the fee, lose the money and lose the candidate because we've gone into another lockdown. There's the talk of a 3rd wave coming up. So it's on the back of a lot of clients' minds. So if you are looking to start an agency, temporary recruitment could be for you, because companies are looking to recruit temporary staff. Yeah, simply because they're looking to offset that sort of risk. So if something goes wrong and there's a shutdown or lockdown, they can tell the agency, we don't need that staff anymore. They haven't lost any money. They've kept their business running and they've upskilled their staff to a degree, or they've kept their staff levels at the level it has to be to run their business. So that is very key for this moment. But the bottom line is just fill your pipeline. And companies are spoiled. There's a lot of candidates in the market and a lot of sectors. So they're not really that fast. They can post an advert. I post adverts left, right and centre. Excuse me. And it's for various different positions. So you could look at, I posted a job for a cleaner. I posted a job for a chef. And I posted like service directors, really sort of top end doctors. These still get applicants because there's a lot of people in the market at the moment. Now, the one thing that you can offer candidates that are passive is Is their job going to be, is this job you're recruited for more money? Is this job going to be a promotion? These are the things that candidates look for in that. So you want to just make sure you have a global sort of list or a database for candidates that are active or passive, so you can contact them and, you know, spec them in. This is the great way to actually make placements. So make sure on both sides. So business development, you're constantly doing business development, you're constantly building up that network. At client acquisitions, all right, great, they give you one position now. Can you fill it immediately? Can you fill it in 1 or 2 days? If you can't, great. But if you can, keep it going, keep in touch with the client, make sure you're doing the correct account management. I mean, account management isn't something I've talked about too much, but it's hella important. It's the most important thing actually in recruitment, because you can very quickly work out if they respect you, if they're going to actually hire. All these things, you can win exclusivity. You can't win exclusivity if you don't have good account management. So make sure you are doing these things. So business development, fill your pipeline constantly, especially in the first 3 months. If you're sending out a few emails here and there and you've managed to win one client, you need to build a process that you're going to replicate. You can pull data and say, okay, great, I sent 600 emails. Every time I send 600 emails to a HR manager in a company this size, I win business. All I need to do is send 600 a week, and I will get a new client every week, statistically speaking. It's only going to get easier moving forward. So make sure you are doing that. On the candidate side, you can never, ever go wrong with having a massive, massive candidate pool. The only thing that's going to go wrong is what can go wrong? I mean, there's nothing there. You might have to be a bit more GDP compliant and have a CRM, which is an extra cost. But at that stage where you've got loads of adverts out, you're messaging people with Octopus on LinkedIn, you're sending out, emails left, right, and center. People are coming to you. You're asking for referrals. This will naturally build up your candidate pipeline. So when it comes and a client says to you, I need this position filled, if you've got someone there, you're efficiently making money. You're not going out to the market every time to look for someone. The big companies probably don't even have job board subscriptions. I mean, if you look at the big recruitment agencies, everything is database. They're starting to spend a lot more on advertisement online to attract those candidates rather than posting job adverts. Google AdWords is key for a lot of businesses now, especially in the digital tech space. They're recruiting through that. We're not looking for, can we have, all we need to do is post a job. You need to have the candidates ready to some degree. I mean, I connected with 300 people for a job on LinkedIn. One come back to me and she's going to be interviewed. That's all it took. I trust most people would probably get to the 20th connection message, have no one respond and think, oh, LinkedIn doesn't work. Like, I went through probably well over 300 to get that person into an interview. I know for a fact they've probably got about 3-4 agencies working on it, but that client is going to respect me a lot more. And they've got about 7 positions. They've only given me 2 positions, but I know for a fact when I make that placement and I ask them, can I have exclusivity, or can I recruit for the rest of your roles? They're going to probably say yes to one of them, if not all of them, if I prove myself. And that becomes a client that no one else is going to ever take away from me if you do a good job. I've had clients from years back come to me and say, can you recruit for us? So it isn't the case of, oh, I've got to go to market every time, I've got to find leads every time. No, you find the leads in the first 3 months, you get the clients, and you've already got the candidates there, so you don't have to keep searching them. However you do it, if you build a Twitter account and you post memes, but you've got candidates on there, that's fine. If you've got LinkedIn, if you buy a database, if you go on to, job boards, you buy job board subscriptions, as long as you've got access to the candidates somehow and you've got them and you can have control of it, that's the main thing and that's the end goal. Sometimes you might build it up by just posting jobs, saving the CV, putting it onto a CRM and doing that after that. So make sure you're building a pipeline. Just some little advice. I've been rambling on, but the good and bad days will come. But the way you fix these problems is by filling your pipeline basically on both ends. 10 interviews a week, you're going to get a placement. 1 interview, you might get nothing. So bottom line is, have a high level of work ethic. It's hard when you start off, you don't know too much about recruitment, but you can actually make real good money in this sector. You can offer, what you actually want to end up is 10 clients per year. And that's contradicting of what I've just said, because I said get loads of clients. Well, the end goal is to sift through all the bad clients and get those accounts that bring in a lot of money every single month for you. You get to know them, they get to know you, you know exactly what you're looking for, to the point where they're always looking for that one particular skill set. So you're always recruiting. So when they say to you, I need that, you've got it already in the candidates. And you can offer the candidates a good promotion, higher salary, closer to home. These are the things that the candidates are going to want. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, keep positive, keep action, and you'll get there eventually. Trust me.